Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon,
we can't ask Rashad questions.
Okay,
Just
Rashad.
first for you, Kelsey, talk about how effective you were today in terms of building off your game two rhythm and the matchups that you see them putting forth for you. And then Becky, can you talk about how they were probably able to negate Chelsea just having one assist today? Can you talk about their game plan against her from what you saw today?
Yeah, I mean, respectfully, like, it's a loss. That's the only thing that I really see. You know, there's a lot of things I think I can do better individually and also helping my teammates collectively. But to be honest, that's the only statistic that matters, especially with this group. We know that, and so we had to bounce back Tuesday.
Becky, Kelsey, one for each of you. Becky, for you, just what do you think was the biggest single number, if you look at it, point the difference in this one? And Kelsey, for you specifically, seemed like there was some drawing with Spike Lee. Yeah, I'm just wondering if that was something you took pleasure in, enjoyed, just your thoughts on that.
I mean, I don't know what was said. I didn't hear it. I mean,
I can't say exactly what was said, but I told him that he should talk louder.
of course you did.
But it was all well and fun, and it's really cool that he's here. Even last round was really cool that he's here. I know he's a big sports fan, so it says a lot, that he's in the building and that he respects the game. And so yeah, I was just having fun.
And Becky, for you, just what do you see as sort of the single biggest reason for the disparity today, biggest thing to clean up?
Well, I thought their length bothered us. Ball stuck a little too much for me. And then, the whole team was pretty much committed to taking away Asia. She had 2-3 people on her all night. And so we got to do a better job of getting her in space but also giving her outlets. And then it's just about playing the right way. If they're going to put 2-3 people on her every time, the ball's got to pop on out of there. But I thought their pressure, they picked us up full court the whole game. That gets to be exhausting. There's a wear down factor there. And I thought they did that. Thought their defense was great tonight. And then you got to make shots against this team. They're too good defensively and offensively. So the open ones you got to make. It's just, it puts too much pressure on you. But at the end of the day, we lost a lot of hustle points, which that can't be the case. You can't only get 2 offensive rebounds and get beat in transition all the time. Points in the paint, on the board, on the free throw line, like they just kicked our ass in every area of the game, I thought.
Thank you both.
Let's go, Ben, then the front row, then back to Michael.
Hey, just building off of that, I know yesterday you talked a little bit about their length, and just being aware of what an impact it could make. I guess, did anything surprise you about it, or how do you counteract their length going forward?
So you got to spread them out. You got to get to space. You have to space, and the ball has to move. If the ball doesn't move and we grab it and we analyze, their length becomes an issue again because everybody recovers back to their own. So not only can they cover the ball, but when the ball is kicked, the next person can make up for that because we're holding it. And we'll take a look at some stuff, but I mean, and I thought they were good on the baseline too. I mean, every time we went along that baseline, it was not good things happening. They really were committed to kind of taking away that corner, some cuts. So in our pick and roll, they would handle the ball. And then we started short rolling where we just need to roll that whole thing because they were pre-rotating and being disruptive even in our pick and rolls, where we couldn't even get it out and get it to the other side. So, they came out and punched us in the nose. There's no doubt about it.
This one's for Becky. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like the approach early on offensively was, other than, going through Asia, obviously, was to sort of challenge Sabrina at the point of attack. Given how she held up and given how you were saying the ball was sticking, is, changing that approach and going more through Chelsea something you're looking at in the future on this?
I mean, on some of this, you can't get into manipulating too many things. Because you go at Sabrina, well, she got JJ back there. She got Stewie back there. She got Phoebich back there. I mean, that's a lot of length. So even if you were to put her in a bunch of actions, that length behind her gives her so much support that it's really hard to expose. I think the best way is just keep the movement and keep the ball moving and let the ball naturally find who they're cheating off of, because it's kind of everybody at different times. The fact that they go under screens all the time, short close us. So, like I said, you got to hit shots when you're open, and that might help, your transition defense. But I thought defensively, we gave up too much, particularly layups. They're good enough everywhere else that you can't give up the rim too.
Michael?
Yeah, coach, specifically with Stewie, are getting off to such a hot start shooting. How difficult was that? And is there anything you can do to maybe try to slow her down a little bit in game 2?
Well, she had too many mismatches. We were switching guards onto her and JJ in that first half, and I'm not supposed to do that. And they destroyed us in there, both the bigs. She had 20 and I think JJ had 11. So once we kind of took care of that, we kept JJ in check, but Stewie was getting that midi like pretty easily all day today. And we understand that's her shot, but we can't let the other two, Sabrina get 21. JJ ended up with 13 and it was 14, something like that. But I thought the start, you're trying to dig out of a hole the whole time. It's not the way you want to start, especially on the road. You have to have a lot of things go your way. And they didn't.
For either one of you, haven't been in this spot often during this run you've had the last couple of years of being down in a series. Or the things you think, okay, we can fix it pretty easily? I mean, what's the mentality going into game 2?
To me, it's a do or die. You have to win game 2. I don't think there's any other way around it. We were in this position with Seattle my first year, except for we were the home team. And then we had to come back and beat them, 3 games in a row. So we've had our backs against the wall before. I think Stewie gave us 40 in one of those games.
Yeah, Sue Bird had 10 assists, 0 turnovers.
Yeah.
And I was guarding her, so
We don't remember it at all.
I remember.
None of us remember that trauma, but anyways.
I do. I do.
No, so I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, 28 and a quarter to start the game, and you're just climbing an uphill battle the whole time. Too good. You can't give them a head start.
Second row, and then we got 2 more.
Coach, despite your defensive struggles, you spoke about it throughout the game. In the third quarter, you guys amounted 6 turnovers, and it seemed to be, the kickstart to get you guys back into it. Do you believe that's a determining factor, or, what did you guys do defensively to get the ball rolling?
Well, I thought just one thing, our pickup, where we picked them up, our physicality, we were up in them for 40 feet. That helps. There's a trickle-down effect. This team is the fastest at getting into their offense. So we really just tried to, instead of starting their offense, in 5 seconds, we want them to start starting their offense in 7, 8 seconds. And I think picking up and just making them work and feel us all night. It's also exhausting though. I thought when we got to probably put more bodies on Sabrina. I think Jack was just worn out. We put Tip on her for a while, throw KP on her, just giving her different looks. To where she's just working all the time. But I thought Tip did a great job too when she got on her, of just being disruptive. So, we'll go back, we'll regroup. I think we know what we have to do to win. We just have to execute it at a really high level.
Kelsey, what did you all as players just say to each other after the game about what you have to do better? And is it what Becky was saying, just a matter of execution more so than anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I think first of all, we talk about we got to start better. And, coach can say a lot of different things, but I tell players to just play hard the whole game, start to finish. Doesn't really matter, at the end of the day. Doesn't really matter if we're going to, we're not going to get foul calls. We're not going to be able to a lot of times have freedom of movement. And we know that they're going to be super physical with us, but that can't stop the way that we play and, our game plan. Right. So I just think for us, it's a character check and it's a different team in game 2.
Andy, let's close out the room on a high note and then go to Nakai.
Thank you. Becky, they had 16 fast break points. You guys had 6. Is that a difference in this game?
For sure. For sure. Told you, we lost all the hustle points. And not only that, you can't suck on the offensive boards and not get back in transition defense. You can't have double. You either get on that offensive glass or you get back in transition, and we didn't do either. So, you want to grab offensive glass? You want to get it to the boards?
Coach, I'd be in there. I don't know if she's
Okay.
For Coach, bouncing off of the layup point for a little bit earlier, it did feel like there were some miscommunications with some of the switches. Did you feel like that was just attention to detail things, or was there anything in particular that New York was doing to kind of put you in those uncomfortable positions?
Not really. I mean, I'll say this about New York. They run their offense hard. And when you run fast, that means the defense has to make fast decisions. You have to talk fast. You have to move fast. It just makes you make mistakes. The pace and the rate that they go at. And, you know, I don't think our pace has been great all year, honestly, for whatever reason, but that's it. You know, Jackie's working her butt off, but she can't see what's behind her. She don't know if it's a big, a little, and then if you're not talking, you know, because it could be a different scheme for a different player. So the communication, it's hard to hear in there at times. The communication really has to be on point, and it has to be early, and it has to be really loud. So I think that was some of it, but most of it is how hard they run. They run routes. They run routes.
Thanks a lot, ladies. We'll see everybody tomorrow. We smack us from 3 to 5 on the traffic score here at Barnes.
And Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question. Brandon,
We
you want one quick
can't
question?
ask Rashad a question.
Hey, Rashad.